In May, I released a video called The Sounds of May, which was the first in a monthly sound diary where I would show the music I'd been working on and little sound projects that don't fit into an actual structured proper video, which I've started doing recently. But anyway, since I released that video, I've not released a single thing. And while I know this is a small channel and nobody has any expectations on the stuff I make or when I upload stuff, which is cool, I do want to get into the practice of it. I was really inspired by the video that Christopher released, which I showed in that first video, and this kind of monthly sound diary format really aligns with what I'm doing on YouTube anyway. I mean, the whole reason why I'm uploading music and now talking to camera and making more structured videos is so that I can have an archive of my work that I can then share with potential people I might be able to collaborate with in the future on other projects. So it's a shame I've not really been able to keep up with it, but there's been good reason for it. So the first reason is this: I'm in a completely new space now. We've converted our basement into a habitable room, and I've worked with GIC acoustics to help acoustically treat it, and I've never had an acoustically treated space in my home before, and it's been great. Since COVID, the games industry that I work in has moved quite heavily to hybrid or fully remote work, so I thought it would be worth investing the money into actually treating a space that I can work from, because I'm here most of the time. Like 90% of my work life is in my home studio now. I'm making a separate video where I'm talking about the layout and the acoustic treatment of this space in more detail, but it has been a very disruptive thing in my life. I mean, the actual labour work of it took way longer than we predicted, and once that was finished we had to get sort of flooring out, had to paint it, figure out the acoustic space, the furniture. It's just a whole thing. It just took ages and quite costly as well. I was in an attic space. It was quite a large room, but it was an awkward room because it had these weird stairway and ensuite bathroom, which meant I couldn't really have an ideal listening position. So it's better in that respect, but also because it's a much smaller room and it's got a low ceiling, that brings with it its own challenges that we've had to overcome. So anyway, I'm going to talk about all this stuff in a separate video. And there was another big disruption in my life, which was that the company I work for laid off 10% of their staff. My job wasn't affected, but someone on our team was affected, and it's an extremely demotivating thing to go through. The games industry right now seems to be going through a kind of a turmoil. It seemed to be that during COVID there was huge outside industry investment, like venture capitalists and just big money coming into the industry, whilst at the same time the industry itself was growing hugely. And now that we're experiencing a global, financial situation through, COVID debt and wars and all that stuff, this growth has become completely unsustainable. And right now in the industry, there's a real lack of investment. There's a huge reluctance to invest in something that isn't going to be a kind of a sure hit, and this has got huge knock-ons, and it's not just the AAA side of the industries. Like indies have been severely affected as well, because I mean there's so many elements to this. Firstly, you've got huge money buying up assets and IP in the industry, like Embracer Group. They bought up Deus Ex and Thief. Can't even remember the scope of purchasing that this company did, but then they've been systematically just selling off or closing down. And it's like they're just consuming assets for investment, and it is literally the commodification of art within the industry, and that's just had such a negative impact on everything. And then you've also got the first party platform holders, Microsoft and Sony. They're laying loads of people off as well, and I just don't really understand it. I know the industry grew a lot, and I know the person month cost on a project is the biggest expense of game development. It's not unusual at all for a project to cost over £1 million a month, to run, and a project might take 5 years to make. I get it, it's expensive, but it's the same across all other tech industry right now. There's huge amounts of money to be made. That money does not come back in, is not distributed fairly across the industry, and so you end up in these situations. But anyway, going through that was pretty depressing, and also had to really support the team that I manage and do my best I could in that situation. But now the dust has kind of settled on that, I've found that in response to all of this, I've really thrown myself into my own indie game projects. In 2018 I made a game called Brute, and that was the last time I really properly tried to make my own games. And even in light of a situation where it's increasingly difficult to release games and make money or even be seen, it's very similar to music. I'm making stuff because I feel a compulsion to do it, and I love to do it, and I know that the end result is going to be nobody's going to know it exists. but it's still fun to make, and again, like I was saying with this YouTube channel, I like making stuff so that when I do make contacts in the industry or in other industries, I can link them stuff I've made and be like, hey, here's what I'm about, and then maybe we can work together and that sort of thing. Anyway, this project I've been making, it's a horror game, and I've got another video in the works where I'm talking about how I'm doing the sound for that, which heavily features this guy here, the Bastel Soft Pop 2. So this is a really interesting thing to process external audio. So with this I've been making music and processing sounds of it. And yeah, similarly to the Make Noise video I did recently, where I used the desktop trio to do the music and sound for this Lunar Lander game, I'm doing a similar video for this and the new title. If you can see them, they can see you. So with all this disruption in a month, I've not made any music, and now that I've got this new space, I also feel a kind of a strange apprehension to get going. I don't know what it is. It's like I've spent a lot of time and money putting everything together and figuring out where everything's going to go, and now I'm like, okay, I haven't like broken the seal, I haven't like got my teeth stuck into it yet, and I wonder if part of that is just like fear of it not working for me. But I do feel very confident about working in here. I've done a lot of my day job. I've worked in here for like a month now, whilst I've been configuring the layout and everything, and it's been cool. I've been working on this game. I've been doing bits of sound and music with this, and it's actually been quite interesting just to focus on one thing and not like try and incorporate the whole studio into the mix. But hopefully when I do this thing next month, I'll actually have some sound that I can share, and it won't just be 10 minutes of me ranting in front of the camera. But yeah, thanks for watching. So this month we've got a video about this studio build, and then we've got another video about the soft pop, and hopefully there'll be some music in there I can share in next month's sound diary. Alright, thanks for watching. Cheers.